Welcome, beautiful family, to yet another episode of Yolking Around, the podcast where we talk about news, pop culture, and life reflection. My name is Derek Mayo, and with me, my beautiful and helpful co-host, Diana Gutierrez.
Hi, I'm here. Got a lot of life reflections today in particular, I would say.
Why do we have to reflect about life, goddammit? Like, why can things just be easy and not have to think about the absurdity of reality every once in a while, especially the reality that we're living nowadays here after 2024 and the elections that we have currently.
Addressing the elephant in the room right away, huh?
Yes. Let's take a stab at it and get it out of the way because
it's important.
It's like a Band-Aid, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like a Band-Aid that we must rip now that we are post election 2024. Trump's America.
Yeah.
Trump's USA. They are the winning ticket. Mm-hmm. They got most of the votes. Mm-hmm. Won most of the swing states, if not all of them. Yeah.
Which is a little sus, if I'm being honest.
I just can't believe Kamala Harris did so terrible in all fucking swing states, bro.
I don't know how deep you've been seeing that there's like conspiracies and
that's the thing, but that's the problem of our democracy, though. There's always going to be conspiracies about like whether it's fair or it's not fair. It's right. The problem. It's the problem of having like this two-party system in a way of like if a party doesn't win, there'll always be speculations of like dishonesty.
Yeah, you're right.
And the same thing
it happened in 2020. So.
Yeah, and obviously there's like different levels, but it's always going to be like if my team doesn't win, then you cheated somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's like a lot of people are trying to have this sort of hope and saying like, no, there's going to be something they're going to undig, or the Democrats are going to do something to like dethrone the election, or not dethrone. That's not, but mostly like I guess take some sort of advantage back. Because they got the House, the Senate, and the presidency, the Republican side.
The triple threat right there.
They got the trifecta of power. They're dealing with all the powers that be, and there's no excuses for them to like amend or switch anything. And I think a lot of people that are on the left side, and by left I mean Democrats, are wanting something to happen to kind of like, I guess, course correction a little bit.
Right, there's like a glimmer of hope. There's been speculation that Kamala is generating funds to do like a recount. Yeah. Or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's much of a foundation in that. I've tried to look into it a little bit.
I've given up.
I mean, like I've it's been like a roller coaster of emotions, I would say, especially as a woman, as a minority. It was pretty disheartening. I feel like at least half of America's been grieving. It feels like a death, really, honestly. Yeah. For some reason, it hit different this time around than the first time Trump became the president.
Yeah, I feel like it's hitting more now because it's hitting women more now. Because in 2016, I got the post-election hangover, is what I call it. Mm-hmm. Emotional hangover. And it was because they voted somebody in that was his opening rhetoric was they're not sending their best, and he was referring to immigrants, to Mexicans, right. And then he compared us to like a rapist, and just
they're bringing drugs.
Yeah, they're bringing drugs. Putting everybody under this umbrella, and they voted him in regardless of what was said, and that hit me because as an immigrant, as somebody that is part of that group, I felt very offended when he said that. And now it was towards women. This election was targeted more towards abortion, women's rights, the whole ideas around all of that. And that's how I feel like you felt the way I felt in 2016. It was a little less. I was disappointed nonetheless, it was a little less and almost expected,
right,
on my end. But women, I feel like they got the heavier set hangover, emotional hangover.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think people want to hold on to that hope, and I think that's why there's theories coming out that I mean, I'm not sure how deep you want to get into this side of things, but
we're already in it.
Oh yeah, we are. But that Elania
Alania
had a big
shout out. That shit's fucking hilarious. The whole Elania
honestly,
thing.
it's fucking funny as hell. And I'm gonna keep saying that.
They're hanging out everywhere. Right? Yesterday they were at the UFC event that we saw.
Yeah.
Like they just gotta hold hands. That's about it.
Like half of that event was just the cameramen panning out to them, basically.
Yeah, dude.
Which we'll get into. We'll talk about that a little
people
bit
too. I'm sorry, I'm not beautiful, but goddamn, dude, I don't need to be seeing somebody whose face looks like ham.
No,
like
jump scare
ham.
for real. But I'm back to what I was saying. That there's a conspiracy that Elania helped out with the election, and that
he did though because of Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Joe Rogan was saying that he was telling a story that Elania knew supposedly 4 hours before the election what it was the exact electoral votes were going to be and everything. Yeah. So I mean, those things to me are not adding up. Also, the swing state thing, that's a toss up for me. But I think a lot of people are trying to hold on to that and be like, no, like they're going to turn it around. There's something coming, but it's just hard for me to kind of fall into that belief because
it's coming. Tariffs are coming.
Oh yeah, 100%. But speaking honestly, I think my biggest hesitancy to accept that or to fully believe that conspiracy theory is kind of what you're saying, right? That every time that there's an election and your team essentially loses.
Yeah.
There's always going to be speculation that it was rigged, right? So to me accepting that there's that conspiracy theory, is completely true, it would be like me kind of, I'm hesitant to accept that because it'd be kind of me being a hypocrite in a way.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Right.
Yeah.
That like, okay, like I accepted that Biden won in 2020, but that maybe because I wanted him to win. Trust me, I don't.
You gotta be careful with bias. You gotta
exactly.
be careful with your own bias.
Exactly.
Because you can find hypocrisy.
Right, and that's why I'm like trying to carefully choose my words here. But I mean, I think regardless of who would have won, there's always power in billionaires, and Elon Musk definitely had a hand in it, unfortunately. But I mean, I think I'm at that grieving phase where now I'm just trying to accept it. Just trying to prepare, trying to, build more of a community with people, checking in on the women in my life and the Latinos in my life, which I want to scold some of you Latino men out there. Like, what the fuck, man? Really? You guys really think he fucked with you like that?
No.
Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out.
It's too late. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then people were trying to change their vote.
Yeah, that was something that was Googled hella. Like, how do I change my vote? And the thing that you were saying, what did you call it? Election hangover?
Yeah.
A lot of people
emotional hangover.
Yes, emotional hangover. Sorry. I think a lot of Trump supporters actually are kind of going through that in a way because a lot of family members who maybe voted in a more liberal way or voted blue or for Kamala, essentially, they're cutting them off.
Yeah. Yeah, there's... Well, it's the whole notion of ethics that are behind it, and people don't see it as that.
It's about morals.
Yeah, it's about morals. It's about like where you stand about certain things. It's like so many people kind of broke down what Trump would do to the economy if he is in office in comparison to like something that the Democrats were trying to pan out, and it doesn't seem like we're gonna be in the best interest. Like we is the working class, right? And I feel like a lot of people are missing the mark, even when it comes to things like the economy.
Yeah.
And what we're going to be expected to do. But maggots, the maggots love the shit pies. They love to seek refuge, to use the metaphor in completion. They love to seek refuge in shit and developing shit. And that's what the MAGA movement did, to these maggots.
Yeah.
And now they're flourishing, little flies.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're seeing that their vote is already having an influence on their relationships in life, and they complain like, oh, like politics shouldn't get in the way of relationships. But again, it's not even about politics. It's about you voted for a convicted felon, a rapist, a misogynist.
Yeah, the list goes on.
Yeah,
a lot of people say that he's a terrible human being. Whenever they say human, I'm like, that fool's not a human because. First of all, he's a narcissist. Like, he does not have any empathy. Like, he is very much to be human. It's to also like resonate with somebody else, to be able to like have some sort of empathy and say, hey, we're human, because I know what you feel, you know what I feel, and we can kind of like understand those feelings with each other. With him, with his narcissism, not being able to like understand what somebody else might be going through and put himself in their shoes, is like, no, it's their fault. They, that's the card that they were dealt. That lack of empathy, it dehumanizes him.
Truly.
In my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
And but anyways, it's very sad, and a lot of people at work, a lot of people in different spaces were very sad, very, very disheartened, and whether you like it or not, you go to work and you feel fucking defeated. Even more than the result is just like you being able to understand the social construct is just getting destroyed little by little, and ethics are just out the door, and society just seems to be kind of shit
yeah
people,
I was gonna make that comment as well. As like it feels more than just an election to me. It's kind of like a loss in humanity in a way.
100%.
Yeah, it's like I think a part of me wanted to believe that the election was rigged or whatever, but I think it was because the alternative is harder to accept, right? That the alternative is that most of the United States is racist or misogynist.
Yeah, that is the harsh truth.
Yeah, exactly.
That is what
homophobic, transphobic, everything, all the phobics, basically.
Yeah, and that is what that it's like mixing your alcohols through that emotional hangover, right? It's like when you mix a whole bunch of alcohols, you feel fucking shitty the next day. Yeah, you cross all the alcohols. Well, we're crossing all the phobias, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is. And to find out that the U.S. is like this, it gives a emotional toll and emotional hangover really, really, really badly.
Yeah, and I mean, all I'll say is, like, the people are like, oh, he is going to make the economy better and he's going to do all these great things. I truly, really do hope so. And a lot of people are of the mindset that he's not really going to go through all the threats that he's making. I really hope so. I don't believe so, but I hope so.
I don't know. With the changes that he's doing, the people he's
already, yeah.
I mean, his cabinet is not looking amazing. It's like the evil Avengers of the Republican Party. It's like it's a lot of people that shouldn't be there, that are not professionals or that are not qualified to do it, but they're just yes men. They want to suck his little Cheeto dick, and that's just the way. That's just the U.S. government, nowadays.
Yeah, I was telling you that Parks and Rec, I fucking love that show. That show is fantastic, but it's sad that it's so relatable to today's politics.
Yeah, it's the satire.
It's supposed to be it's satirical.
Yeah.
It's, you would think, oh, like that doesn't really happen in politics, but no, politics is a fucking circus, man.
It is. And I've always said it's just a way to distract the populace. What we should be really caring about is just the class consciousness, and who has more and who has less. It's not, and I think politics and this bipartisan structure that we have is just to put people with the same needs against each other, just finding a particular way, whether it is like LGBTQ plus or racial things, things that shouldn't really matter in the grand scale of things, because it should be like common sense not to be racist.
It's stupid to be racist when you think
or about it. Discriminatory towards a specific gender.
Yeah,
we
should be evolved more as a society.
Yeah, we should be evolved. Like that shouldn't even be a thing. And with something like gender, it's just the way it is, guys. It's just part of evolving. Just like people are feeling more free to express themselves a different way, how they really are feeling, they get shunned by it.
Right.
And it's BS. We are not evolving. We're still stuck in this like guy and girl. We're stuck. We're not moving. Same thing with race. This race thing, when I know damn well that everybody is a human and everybody, nobody's superior than anybody. And also we've learned our lessons through history, but apparently we haven't, right? With the whole thing that happened in Germany. It's just like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I actually learned an interesting fact. Do you know when the last time the majority of white Americans voted for a Democratic candidate for president?
The last time that the majority voted
that
for
the majority of white people
voted
for a Democratic candidate for president.
Obama?
No, way before that. Decades ago, 1964.
1964.
And guess what was passed in 1965?
The Civil Rights Movement?
Yeah, Civil Rights Act.
So it would have been Lyndon B. Johnson, no?
I'm a little ignorant. I don't know.
See, come on, guys. Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson. Let me look it up real quick because I'm pretty sure he was preceded by John F. Kennedy, succeeded by Richard Nixon, and he was political party Democratic. Yeah.
Okay.
He was part of the movement as well. He was very much in favor of like social reform.
So I just been pretty in my feels, it feels like it's been a month already, but it's barely been like 2 weeks or a week barely. Mm-hmm. Wait, what is time? What day is today?
Yeah.
I wanted 2 weeks ago, no?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. But it's felt a lot longer. But I would just say, check in with your people. Luckily, we live in a blue. Actually, that's another fun fact. Colorado is the only state that went more blue this year for the election. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's been because of all the propaganda that was spread with the fucking gangs and it seemed like it was gonna go more red. Is all I'm trying to say. Colorado is, you never know. These people are closeted in a way. These races are closeted, and then they kind of pop out of nowhere, and then they vote a type of way against the what you would think would be the majority. But
yeah, they vote against their own rights. Essentially, that they don't know it.
Yeah.
But I hope you get everything you vote for.
Well, it also let us see how uneducated people are.
Oh, yeah.
Like the lack of education.
That's honestly like the bare root of it.
Yeah. It's a lot of people are very ignorant in what they believe in. They don't even know what they believe in.
Ignorant and stubborn.
Yeah.
I've seen, at least from the people that I've interacted with, or...
I'm not only ignorant, I'm also smug about it.
Right. You show them straight facts, and they're like, no, that's not right. Like, this is like from the government website. What do you mean it's not right,
Yeah.
So a lot of people are just kind of stuck in their ways, and it's unfortunate, really. It's truly sad, and I don't know. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers, right? I hope that we'll see how this affects the different marginalized communities and groups that are basically feeling threatened through all of this, and by this sort of fascist rhetoric and all the hate that they sort of spew against, like first of all, Native Americans, the disrespect, the immigrants, the women, like I said, the LGBTQ plus community, and many other groups, very against everybody else that's not Caucasian or looks a specific way or speaks in a specific way or what have you.
Yeah, I guess the American people would rather have a rapist than a woman as a president.
Yeah, that's true. We're not ready. Meanwhile, Mexico is killing it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, God help us in these upcoming 4 years. And congratulations, you guys did it. You guys fucking did it. Now you guys have the power, and hopefully Fix America, it's going to be great. The economy is going to be great. And I know it's all bullshit, but we'll see.
Prove me wrong. Prove us wrong.
Prove me wrong, yeah. I want to be proven
Talk to
wrong.
us in a year.
Yeah, I want to be making a video saying, you know what, guys, I fucked up.
Honestly, same.
He's actually a sweetheart. That's never going to happen, but,
We can live in the fantasy.
Yeah, I will never. He's way past that point, man.
Oh, yeah.
Let's switch up the topics. In other reflections, we're going to rant throughout this podcast.
Oh, yeah, we're in a ranty vibe.
Yeah, we're in a ranty vibe. And then one of the reflections I had is that we've been dealing with our neighbors.
Oh, Lord.
And is having to deal with loud, obnoxious neighbors. At some point, somebody has had a loud neighbor or obnoxious neighbor.
And if not, you are that neighbor.
Yeah, or you are privileged and you've always lived in a nice, house where you have peace and quiet, right? But most of us aren't that privileged. And I'm not the type to mind loud noises, not even music, because I grew up in Mexico. My neighbors would always blast music, and it was okay. It was okay. The problem comes when it becomes yelling, fighting, screaming,
constantly
stomping.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Breaking shit.
Breaking?
It's just disrespectful, man. I don't understand.
The level of disrespect is uncanny. Like,
oh yeah,
it's fucked up.
And I almost wonder if they know they're being disrespectful, or they're really that
oblivious.
Yes, thank you. That's the perfect word. If they're just that oblivious that they don't realize how disrespectful they're being.
It's weird. It's weird. Like, how could you not be mindful of like the sound you're making?
Right.
You know, like. I don't know. I don't understand it. Like I said, I don't even mind noise, but whenever you're screaming at each other, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, why are you guys
Tuesday evening?
Yeah, no, and then at 3-4 a.m.
Yeah,
my goodness, guys, like you're trying to sleep and all of a sudden, like, you don't know, somebody might be getting murdered, or like,
yeah, you don't even know what to do.
You don't know if you should call the cops, and then you hear people yelling, and then all of a sudden, like, you hear people laughing, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm confused.
I'm very confused. And also, I don't know how to treat the situation.
Right.
And a lot of people would say that something like, well, you just got to be the bigger person and go talk to them and be nice about it. But these people don't. I feel like if they're not aware of the noise that they're making and they're being disrespectful by letting us hear what they're fighting about, like whether it is a string cheese or, you know, what your baby mama left you or whatever it is, like, if they're not respectful about that, like, I feel like us going to them and having that conversation is not gonna solve anything. It's just gonna go one ear and then go out the other. So why even waste my fucking time? It's
exactly. And I think, honestly, in part, I think it could. I mean, this might make me sound like an old lady or something.
No, we are. No, but that's what's fucked up about it. It's like you're the neighbor that is complaining and you're the asshole. Oh, you're the one that doesn't know how to have fun. Oh, you're bitter. It's like, no, bitch. I like to have fun, but I'm not gonna be screaming all the time. Like,
well, more so, what I was going to say is that I think it can, at least from my observations, it's also in part a generational thing. I honestly think some of the younger generation, they're outspoken about, a lot of things. They're very passionate. However, at least in the people that I've interacted with, I think manners are being lost a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
No excuse me, no please, no thank you.
Yeah.
Just the simple things, I think that really is a part of what's, what that's going on.
But do you think that's only happening with the younger generations? I feel like that's happening with people, like,
just in general.
Yeah, like, I don't know how many times I'm the type of person that even if I don't have to say like thank you or excuse me, I always say excuse me, like if I'm passing somebody, because I'm going through your personal space, and not everybody feels comfortable, going through that personal space. Like when you go grocery shopping, right? And it's like, I say it and there's not even like a response or an acknowledgement. And I'm not saying, hey, let me praise you for being this way, but it's non-existent. It's refreshing when somebody is like that, when somebody actually says, oh, my bad, an
like,
acknowledgement. We're not asking for just acknowledgement so that we know that, I don't know, it's chill, it's like that social cash exchange, of like, hey, society is doing good. No, fuck you, man. I'm not even gonna acknowledge you. Like,
nah.
And with this, with the neighbors, it comes down to the same thing. It's like, how are you gonna like not be aware that there's other people in the facility? There's people outside, and then there's people sleeping that have to go to work. I work from home, but they have to wake up early. You know, it's different, and these people are making noises and being mad disrespectful towards everybody else.
Yeah, I would say too. Even just like in the smaller, in smaller things, like people closing their doors or even the main door, they just slam that door. I'm just like, can you be careful, please? Like, it's fucking loud. So honest. Yeah, it's just a lack of self-awareness. I would say a lack of recognition that other people share space with you.
Yeah, which is so fucking weird, man. It's so weird how like we live in a world where we are most likely, because of the economic context, you're gonna be sharing space with somebody, yet we are so egotistical sometimes with space.
Yeah, honestly.
You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's such a weird conundrum or paradox that happens. It's like, most of us have lived with our brothers, sisters, yet seem to be very disrespectful when it comes to like sharing space with other people that aren't necessarily our family.
Communal space.
Yeah,
and it's not like we're never loud, but it's not like we're loud every day. When we have friends over, okay, maybe we're a little loud.
No,
but
like I said, I have no problem because I like to play music loud myself. I'm not a fucking bitter lemon, But like I said, even if it was music, I'd tolerate it. I'll tolerate it. But when it becomes screaming and you're not certain about like if somebody's safe, if you should
that's true.
And then they have kids. We're like just spilling the tea right here, but they have kids. No,
exclusive.
Fuck our neighbors. And then they have kids, and we don't know to grow up with it. You're just like, it's the same fucking cycle that you're gonna be repeating. Like, it's okay for you to be talking to each other like you hate each other, and it just
it just normalizes shit for kids.
Yeah, it's very weird and very sad.
Yeah,
at the same time. I got some pop culture news.
Oh yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's switch it up a little bit. We had those two things that were bothering us,
picking at us.
But yeah, don't be a dick if you're that neighbor. Be a little more self-aware and conscious about people's spaces and the time you're doing shit. So yeah. We recently saw a movie. It was the directional debut for Ana Kendrick. She did a Woman of the Hour, a psychological thriller that talks about these American serial killer called Rodney Alcala. And I just wanted to talk about the movie because I feel like the movie touched different notes when it came to like our culture and the way women are treated in our society specifically. It is a timepiece. It's based on the 1970s when this serial killer was taking place, and Ana Kendrick also starred in it. She played Cheryl, one of the main characters. Daniel Sobato, which is Rodney Alcala, Pete Holmes, and Adam Best, among other great actors, obviously. But I wanted to talk about the movie because it shocked me, and it was released in 2023, and I didn't even know about this.
Interesting.
But Netflix has it, so if you guys want to go watch a good thriller, go check it out. It's amazing. But before we sort of get into the meat and potatoes of it all, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of the context of where this movie came from. So who was Rodney Alcala, right? Rodrigo Jacques Alcala was born in August of 1943 and died in July 24th of 2021.
Ooh, that was recent, low-key.
Yeah. He was an American serial killer and convicted sex offender who was sentenced to death in California for 5 murders committed between 1977 and 1979, which is when the movie sort of takes place. He also pleaded guilty and received a sentence of 25 years to life for 2 further murders committed in New York. He was also indicted for a murder in Wyoming, which is the opening scene in the movie. I'm not going to try to spoil that, but yeah, it's really good. Although the charges filed, they were dropped, while Alcala had been conclusively linked to 8 murders. The true number of victims remain unknown and could be as high as 130.
That is terrifying.
Yes, that includes women and men, by the way.
Oh, men as well.
Alcala compiled a collection of more than 1,000 photographs of women, teenage girls, and boys, many in sexually explicit poses. In 2016, he was charged with the 1977 murder of a woman identified in one of his photos. Alcala is known to have assaulted one other photo subject, and police have speculated that others could be raped or murder victims as well. Prosecutors have said that Alcala toyed with his victims, strangling them until they lost consciousness, then waiting until they revived, sometimes repeating this process several times before finally killing them.
Jesus.
One police detective described Alcala as a killing machine, and others have compared him to Ted Bundy. Alcala is often referred to as the dating game killer, which is also the story of the movie, as he appeared on a television show called The Dating Game in 1978 during the midst of his murder spree.
He was that charming.
Yeah. So, with that being said, the movie sort of does a great job of depicting this story, right? Obviously from I guess different points of view, but
Right.
you know, you have your main point of view, which is the the protagonist, Cheryl, or Anna Kendrick. And I just wanted to talk to you about the themes that it touches, because I think it does a really good job of expressing and making specifically guys, and well, I guess girls as well, women, guys. It made me uncomfortable. You know, to feel that a dude can make a woman feel a certain type of way. In his case, he was aware. He got empowered by it almost. You know, and he was a very sneaky guy, and had a way to like infiltrate women's vulnerability, by pretending to be this photographer, right, and going around and whatnot. But what I wanted to get at more than anything is I wanted to see what you felt being a woman that does have to fear, you know, being attacked by some weirdo or some strange, and also the whole context of misogyny thrown in there as well.
Wow. Well, I've always told you movies that, you know, scary movies I enjoy, but scary movies that are based in real life, it's in this case, you know, obviously he was a real serial killer, so I'm sure they tweaked some details in the movie, but for the most part, the story is, you know, shit that happened.
Yeah.
And it was scary, man. It was. Anna Kendrick did a really good job at encapsulating the little things that make women scared. The little things. They seem very brief or insignificant, maybe, but even like little touches in certain like areas. Like I've told you, you know, when like an example of maybe when we're out in public or at a club or something, and guys, you know, it's crowded. I understand, you know, people you got to accept the fact that people are gonna run into you. But what I've never liked is when men like touch me in my hips. Like, don't fucking touch me there. And I think she did a really good job at highlighting like those little things of like, even like, you know, when he grabbed the small or of her back, or, you know, things like that,
or her hair,
her hair, or I mean, I don't want to describe the scene.
We don't want to spoil. Yeah, but yes.
But the scene in the parking lot, that was, I think that was the scariest part for me, if I'm being honest. That one, that was super scary.
It felt real.
It felt real. She did a good job at. I mean, she's a woman herself, so she's unfortunately probably had to deal with some stuff, maybe on a different scale.
Yeah. Well, she's Hollywood. She's in Hollywood, so who the fuck knows?
That's true. That is a great point, actually. Yeah. So yeah, I think she encapsulated exactly the things that women fear. And I'm honestly glad I didn't watch it by myself, because I would have been scared. I mean, scared regardless, you know. Yeah. But it's sad to think how many women can relate to that feeling of most. I would argue, most, if not all, women can relate to that feeling, you know. Yeah. And I think in part, kind of what you were saying, right, that maybe some guys are unaware that they're being creepy. I think honestly that is a part of, not specifically for what we're talking about right now, but I think a lot of guys are unaware that maybe some of the things that they're doing is a little creepy, or maybe it's not ill-intentioned, but they're not, at least in my experience, a lot of men do not grasp social cues as well as women do.
Yeah, they lack. And it feels like nowadays we're allowing men even more, you know, to not be conscious about that, like to make jokes about certain things, or say or act a certain way around towards women, and they're not being apprehended. Well, not to come back to it, but the whole grabbing by the thing, exactly, you know, like, it's just locker talk, but that locker talk also transitions into what we're seeing in society, the way guys are allowed to speak or treat women.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what fucking Nick Fuentes said.
Yeah, exactly. That fucking idiot, dude. He's
your body, my choice.
Man, it's just. I think. And they say that we're not sick. Like, there's not a sickness in this fucking nation, dude. Like, god damn, dude. Like, come on, open your fucking eyes, guys. Yeah. That women are treated a certain type of way. Come on, guys.
Obviously, there's women that are brainwashed as well, unfortunately, and that breaks my heart in a different type of way. But men are just looking for an excuse or to justify their shitty actions, really, and that's why Trump has such a following. He has formed a cult, basically. But going back to the movie, it's just I think just looking at it as a movie itself, I think she did a great job at
She killed it.
Yeah,
she killed it as a director
Mm-hmm.
and actress as well. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good, but I think she just did a really great job at everything. She highlighted a lot of stories, and it didn't feel rushed, even though it was only an hour and a half.
Great pace.
Uh-huh.
The cinematography was amazing as well. I liked the whole 1970s theme.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did really good on that. The photography, the shots that they were using made a lot of sense, created some sort of feelings and ambience. And I also want to give credit to Ian McDonald, who was the writer.
Okay.
I thought the script felt a little bit. If it was solid, it was simple, it was to the point, but it made sense and it got a lot across in a way.
Yeah, and I was gonna note that too. I like the simplicity of it because it makes
Yes.
it more real. It really just shows you how often this type of shit really does happen. You know,
Yeah.
it's sad to think that he suspectedly killed more people than he was convicted for. Right?
Yeah.
That is disgusting, man.
Well, and it brings about a different things where somebody goes and reports somebody that says,
Oh,
"Hey,
yeah.
this person is committing or I'm
Mhm.
suspicious of this person," and they get dismissed. Like she's crazy. That would never. That
Was so infuriating. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
I went through so many emotions with that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and it has comedy too, like hints of comedy.
Right.
It's a really well done movie. I mean, I'd say five star for Ana Kendrick for being her
honestly.
first.
Yeah, and actually, one
directing
other
role.
thing that I was gonna say is that I just thought about. I was just thinking about like the other characters that were in the movie, and again, without trying to spoil anything, I think they did a really good. And I say they because it wasn't just her.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
They did a good
whole
job.
squad.
Yeah, at encapsulating that sometimes as women, I'll speak for myself as a woman, that sometimes you being assertive in your boundaries, you kind of start to question yourself a little bit because sometimes a man's reaction will make you feel like it's your fault that you don't want to
Yeah.
do something. Or make
Oh
you
yes, yes. That's also another like thing that happens, right? Like
Yeah.
how women seem to be almost like forced, but like
We're not allowed to say
in
no
a social
without-
way. In a social way, like you're
Exactly.
expected to, because God forbid you hurt a guy's feelings or some shit.
Yeah, our no is not respected.
Yeah. No is not no for women.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, no means, oh, you're a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like the social forcing that I'm telling you about, that is expected, that is placed on. I don't know. Watch the movie.
Yeah,
nonetheless,
it's a great movie.
fucking movie. It's on Netflix. Go fucking watch it. And the dude that played it, I always think about the dude that played this type of maniacs,
me
right?
too.
How you have to be good. And I was actually watching a podcast with actor Jude Law. He was describing somebody else, but he played a really twisted Mr. Ripley. You remember the Amazing Mr. Ripley or something like
I
that
remember that.
with Matt Damon, and how Matt
Yeah,
Damon was like how to get himself in this character that's psychotic,
Yeah.
a psychopath in a way, and in a weirdo in a way, and how actors have to get themselves to this mindset.
Yeah.
And we've seen it also with the guy that played
Evan Peters?
Evan Peters. Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. With who did he play? Dahmer.
He's played a lot
Dahmer,
of characters that are very dark.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think he's been open to about it affecting his mental health.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you have to really be careful with that shit, man.
Yeah, it's actually dangerous for
Yeah.
actors to be playing a particular type of role.
It's needed because
Of course, yeah, and something-
villains, or it's needed for like to create awareness, and somebody has to play the bad guy. Somebody has
course.
to play the bad guy. But it is scary, as an actor, to get yourself into sort of this darkness. And I think the Salvato, the guy that played it, did a really good job. I had never seen him, but I thought he did a good job at being that creepy, charming, dead-eye kind of like serial killer. He really did good as well. So yeah,
Really well-made movie, for sure.
yeah, well-rounded, well-made, and go check it out. So that is one of the pop culture things that I have popping up. And then the last pop culture thing that I have is the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight that we watched.
What fight?
Oh my god, dude! It was terrible. This happened in Arlington, Texas, and honestly, before I even get into the fight, I just want to give a shout out to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano's fight. The fight before the main event, the Katie Taylor being the Irish that won the championship against Amanda Serrano from PR. Great fucking fight. They gave it their all, and it was just really good boxing from them to very, very much a contrast. They're beast, and very much a contrast to what the main event was, which was pathetic.
Yeah, actually, they should have been the main event.
Boxing wise.
If I knew it was going to turn out like that they should have been the main event. And that's me speaking as someone that only saw the last 2 rounds of their fight.
Yeah, it was super intense, and they actually fought for the first time. I was reading because I was actually very interested in the whole thing. They fought in Madison Square Garden, if I'm not mistaken, in 2022, and Taylor won. The Irish won by split decision, so it was sort of the revenge. And honestly, you see the stats, and Serrano should have won it. A
lot of people are saying that.
The girl from Puerto Rico, the woman from Puerto Rico should have won it. And there's weird things there, man. I don't know. I thought she should have won it, but the result is the result, and that's what the judges said. But I don't know. I have a stat actually. Serrano landed 324 punches out of 734 that she threw, while Taylor landed 217 out of 529.
Oh wow!
And yeah, the judges, as I said, the judges didn't reward Serrano for
that's
for
a
her
stark
activity.
Difference.
Exactly. So it makes you kind of wonder, like, why did they give it to her?
Probably because she looked a little bit more fucked up than.
Yeah, but that doesn't fucking matter. I always say that.
I'm saying, that's probably a part of it.
And also, she cheated. It was Taylor. She was getting some backlash because she fucking headbutted her.
Right.
And that's how she split her Serrano's eyebrow.
Yeah, and I think you were telling me that she's done that before, right, in the past.
Yes, she's been known to do that.
She plays dirty.
Yes, and there was controversy at the end as well, saying, "Hey, she's known to do that," and I don't understand why they keep letting this happen. And they even deducted a point off of Taylor. So yeah, better fight than Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah,
was just a joke. It was funny to watch, just it was more funny to watch than like
falling asleep.
Yeah, for real.
No, but yeah, I feel like that shit was rigged 100%.
Yeah, Mike Tyson went and got paid. He got his 20 mil a year. I think he's
something like that.
Yeah,
too.
something along those
figures.
That amount. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those figures, and it was just sad seeing Mike try to throw a punch. In a way, and he's a beast. He's a legend. I understand the titles and all of that, but he's also been in some scandals. I'm aware of. He's
not a perfect angel.
He's not a perfect angel whatsoever, but. It did look weird seeing this 58-year-old dude going against a 27-year-old guy. The difference was uncanny.
Yeah, I feel like Jake was just trying to put his name a little bit more out there, and obviously a big name like Mike Tyson is going to help him,
Yeah.
A lot of people have been kind of, just to get a little political, everything's about politics, so, it makes sense, but a lot of people are saying that in a way that they think maybe it was rigged in a way to show that, I don't know how much I believe it or not, but it's kind of like a representation of society right now, right? And just the little things that, remember I was telling you, the hat that his team was wearing, it said "Make America Healthy Again," and obviously Jake is a Trump supporter, and he's a colonizer fucking living in Puerto Rico and ravishing off all of those benefits, but kind of people were kind of saying that in this scenario Mike is the metaphor for an underdog, and obviously Jake is the metaphor for a white man, basically. And you know what he said after the fight, a change is coming, a shift is what he said in our country, right?
And he kind of had people were analyzing that, and he sort of had a weird thing that he said, because he said, "We're back."
He did.
We're back, right. And it's back to what? Back to the fucking 1800s, bro? When fucking back to where, bro? Honestly, the fight just seems sort of scripted to portray something like that, a story that you were saying about the underdog, and it was very terrible. Terrible fight.
Also, Netflix crashed out, and was gaslighting all of us,
That is
saying
so
it was
funny,
our
that's true.
internet.
Yes, he was saying that if you were watching it online through your computer, it was saying that it was our internet, and we're like, no, it's not. Like, this is, and they announced it so much.
Yeah.
The first time ever, Netflix is, and they broke records and everything,
Yeah.
but still, it was lagging so bad, so bad.
I think that humbled them a little bit, which I think they needed a little bit of humbling because
they're the shit.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a different thing that they're trying to get into, you know, and it's smart to stream things like that. It is smart, but it's a different ball game, and I think they got to see that they're gonna need bigger arm power to be able to like stream 2000s like the way they did.
For sure.
Yeah, because it was free, right? So maybe they were like, we're gonna have it for free.
I mean, technically, pay subscription, but I mean,
yeah, technically
you pay more for other fights, you know. So.
Yeah, but maybe that's the whole thing. Oh, you want to watch the fight? You can pay this extra, and this is like their way of sort of introducing.
Oh, I see. Things. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, maybe that can be where they're going, you know. But like you said, it is smart for them to do that. So.
Yeah, and then the way they entered as well, the arena.
Oh my God, I can't.
I'm criticizing everything. Like, fuck that fucking.
No,
fight.
honestly, here's the thing, Jake, he feels like he needs all those props.
Yeah.
All the cars, the fucking stupid spray, whatever the fucking.
And then the announcers were sucking him off so hard
throughout the whole thing.
Like, bro, Jesus Christ, tell me you're not paid to do this. God damn. He was like giving me the details about the car. I'm like, it's a terrible looking car. And I like lowrider cars, but it was fucking terrible.
Yeah. Well, am I thinking of maybe the wrong person, but isn't the owner of the UFC Trump, are they buddies?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're Dana White and Trump. Oh yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, that's all you got to know about that, but yeah, he's just so extra. Jake is so extra. And it was interesting to see the stark difference between also his music choice. I didn't really like that's not it wasn't really like that hype of a song to walk into, you know?
Yeah.
And then Mike Tyson walks out by himself. Like, that's a statement, you know?
Yeah, by himself, no team. Not even like a fancy like robe. Yeah, thank you. Like a boxing robe, right? Or sometimes boxers walk out with something lavish. We're known for that. Yeah. But even with that, you have to have taste.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he didn't need any of that. He just walked out. I mean, he's a legend already. He's established, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got nothing to prove. Mm-mm. He just went and got richer. Yeah. That's all he did. Yeah. He just went and got richer, and I guess respect, chased the bag, but...
and then when they asked him at the end...
about his oral fixation. Yeah. I have an oral fixation.
What were you doing with...
Because he kept biting his gloves, right?
I have a biting fixation.
Yeah, we know. You don't have to tell us you have a biting fixation. We know what you did.
Well, and then when he also asked him, like, oh, is this your last fight? And he's like, I'm not sure, something like that.
Yeah, and try to call out Logan Paul, right?
Oh, yeah. He's like, oh.
He's crazy. Mike Tyson is just a character, man. He's so fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And then Logan was like, I'll murder you or something like that, no? Yeah. He said something along those lines. That fight was a joke, man. It wasn't.
So many celebrities.
Also, I just think in general shouldn't have been allowed. Like a 58-year-old with... like a young lad.
It gets to a point where you're like,
this feels morally wrong to watch.
What if he punches him in a certain spot and his body cannot take it anymore? Yeah. I mean, his body might, but maybe like his head. Maybe his head. You know, you never know.
Head injury or something.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. As a senior citizen, he's about to be a senior citizen, and I don't mean no disrespect to people that are elderly.
No, of course not. The opposite. You should respect your elders.
Yeah.
And not beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, at least he slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's true.
Before the main event.
The night before.
The
weigh-in, right?
Yeah, the weigh-in. Yeah. Thank you. He came in like in a full thong, Mike Tyson, and then after the fact, the fucking shot that was going viral.
Homeboy was double cheeked up.
He was wearing a girdle or something.
I don't know
what the fuck it is, but something the boxers wore, and he knew the camera was there too, and he did not give a fuck.
Oh yeah.
He mooned us all. He was just nonchalantly walking with his black booty showing. God damn, bro. Mike is something else.
Oh, yeah.
One way or another, but...
I have the impression that people who live outside of the U.S. are like, what the fuck is going on in there?
Yeah,
You know, like we're
like
in an
the
anomaly.
Michael Jackson meme when he's eating popcorn at the theater. You know, like
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's how I feel like people feel about the U.S.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, what is going on over there?
It's like they're laughing, but also kind of crying with us at the same time.
Yeah. Well, because they're affected. Like, even people in Europe are affected, you know? People in Germany are not very happy about, like,
yeah, you're right.
the elections.
Yeah.
There's other countries that are affected because they're in allegiance with the G7.
Exactly. You're right.
You know, there's a lot of things that will be affected because of Trump's election.
Oh, yeah. And he's definitely not going to stop the genocide. People are like, there were no wars under Trump's presidency.
They're all bought by AIPAC, so yeah. I don't see that shit ending anytime soon.
No,
sadly.
It's very sad, you know. But
it sucks that we just have to be conformed to this reality.
It feels pretty.
It's just like nobody stands. Yeah, it just nobody stands out for good. Like, nah, it's not our fault. Like they can scratch themselves with their own nails, bro. They need assistance. Like,
of course, they got to look at the bigger picture.
In the U.S., it's always paint themselves to be like the superhero, but whenever they actually need to be the superhero, they fucking run away.
Got the white savior complex.
Yeah, but they do, but they don't. Only to their advantage.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. They make it appear that way to the general public.
Yeah, they're great at making that propaganda machine, right? That to make it seem like we are the good guys. But growing up is realizing that the U.S. is the bad guy.
No, truly.
That's what growing up is. That for me, that's how it has been. You know, they sell you this whole notion of the American dream, of the land of possibilities, the land of the dreams happening, and once you start growing up and you start seeing like the differences of that, not everybody's dreams matters, only certain specific groups, you know, and only certain specific groups have access to certain things, and it's just like, holy shit, man, I've been told a lie my whole life and I believed in and ate it up.
When do you think, I think this is an interesting question, like when do you think the rose-colored shades were taken off for you?
For me, that happened whenever I was stopped the first time by a police officer.
How old were you?
I was 16.
Okay,
I was 16. I was going to school, actually. I was going to school because I was gonna hear about colleges and how to go to one, right? That I was interested in, and they were gonna be doing this like small meeting for students that were interested, and I got stopped because something in my plate light. I got stopped, and the officer asked me if I had a license. I was 16. Didn't have a license at the time, and then just everything changed after that because of the way he treated me. He started treating me like I was some sort of like
a criminal.
A criminal, straight up. I was a 16-year-old, and at the time I remember.
That's scary.
At the time I was so into my like religion, and I had my Bible on my lap. You know, I had my Bible, and I was like scared that something was gonna happen. And after the way he treated me, it was a reality check.
That's horrible.
It was a reality check. I cried. I cried that night.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was really heartbreaking.
I would say for me that when I realized America really wasn't the United. I'm gonna say United States because I don't really like to say America, and I've got into a habit of it lately. But the United States of America is not the best country in the world. And I think I was just taught with that idea. And so it was so integrated into my head until I would say roughly until I entered college, if I'm being honest. I have experienced racism and things like that, unfortunately. But I feel like
it was like specific events, and specific times, specific.
And education, if I'm being honest, you know, just learning more and like educating myself about certain things. That's just opened my eyes a lot. And I just wanted to get your perspective because I feel like in the people that I've kind of asked that question, unfortunately for migrants, it tends to get off a little bit faster, you know, because of just the obscene racism that there is. And I have the privilege that, you know, I was born here. And so, I mean, shit has still happened to me, but it's still a privilege, you know, to be in my position. So, yeah, it's an interesting question that I like to ask. But
yeah, and just to add to that, what's even more fucked up is the people that were immigrants got some sort of residency or citizenship, and now they're against other immigrants because they already got their stuff, and now they don't want anybody else.
They want to gatekeep.
yeah, they want to gatekeep being able to like be here legally, which is still BS because this was the land of Mexicans.
Oh yeah, the border. We didn't cross the border. The border crossed us.
Yes, exactly. And now you see that the sadness is when your own people throws you under the bus.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the harder things of accepting. I knew misogyny exists. I know misogyny exists in our community, but I guess it was just shocking to see how much, I really thought I had a lot of faith in the younger generation, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I think it just hits harder when it's your own people, especially just of the sheer amount of things that he's said, about our people. So
yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah. How he referred, well, not he, but somebody that he had referred to Puerto Rico,
Oh, right.
as a land of garbage, you see how these people, when he said that we were poisoning the blood of America or the U.S., these people do not like us, and then you have your own people kind of sucking up to them, and it's just like, bro,
I make $50K now. Get out. Stay out.
Make $100K. I think you get your white card automatically. Apparently, if you start making $100K or something.
Yeah, so work toward that, guys. It works.
And it's so funny because they will never be accepted. That's another thing that people don't realize. You guys will never be accepted by them because you guys are not them.
They use them for a vote, essentially.
Of course, and they tell them, and these people are stupid. They're going on Google the next day. Did I fuck up my vote?
Can I change my vote? My wife is divorcing me.
No, what the fuck did I do wrong? I got no friend now.
People are so mean.
Yo, what the fuck, Trump? Well, now you can suck on daddy's tits, I guess.
Yeah.
That's probably what Elon Musk wants to do right now, or is doing. No, that whole thing is so weird because some people say that obviously they're both very. I feel like they're both very narcissistic, egotistical people, right? Mm-hmm. To begin with, but it's weird because it gets to a game of like who is playing who, who's on whose pockets to begin with, who's controlling who.
Honestly, in
who's
that dynamic,
taking the shots? Maybe Trump. I think
honestly, I think so.
But who knows?
Elon was left a few years ago. He's an immigrant himself.
Yeah. I'm dark MAGA. You look like a fucking gallon of milk, homie. Shut the fuck up. Like,
no, honestly, I feel like Trump is gonna dump him at some point. Be like, okay, I'm not gonna deal with you anymore.
Yeah, it's not gonna be Elania anymore.
No, bye Elania.
Yeah, that's they're in the honeymoon phase, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
They're seen everywhere.
They're seen more together than him and his actual wife.
For real though.
Neither of them, actually.
For real.
Wait, is he married? Are the Grimes and him still together?
No, I hope not.
Actually, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah,
I haven't seen her in a minute, actually.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they're together.
Hopefully, I hope she ran away.
I might be wrong, but no, I don't think they're together.
Okay, but yeah. Anyway, you see Trump more with Elon than with his actual wife, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Melania is only seen in special events, like she. Other than that, I don't see her.
Well, and then that weird video that you showed me, was it you that showed me? Of where he was somewhere and with a girl that she didn't really. I feel like she didn't really look like Melania, but
she was wearing these big glasses inside, and they were saying that it was Melania, but it looked like somebody else. I don't know. So
it was weird,
like a weird thing going on. Yeah. The night before the election. Right?
Yeah,
weird.
It's a weird time.
No, and they're so awkward. Like whenever he goes and approaches her to kiss her or something,
it's
like
so uncomfortable.
Yes, dude. I've never seen him kiss in the mouth. Like not even a. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
You have to show some class, But I'm not saying make out, but even the way he touches her is so fucking.
Well, and in the way that she gravitates toward him, it's like, ugh, I don't want to touch you or be near you.
Yeah, there's like a level of disgust there.
Yeah, honestly,
so it's a little like Dookie, no?
In the club, we all fam. In the club, we all fam. But I was also gonna say, I hope in a few years, maybe when Trump is. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? I was gonna say, I don't know how long we're gonna deal with him, but let's say in most ideal situation, he's no longer president, and maybe he's like divorced or dead. Either or.
I really hope he's.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest, he needs to.
Would be a better place.
Hopefully, I don't get got.
No, but I hope in a few years we get like an exclusive interview with her, and I hope she's like real honest about like what it was like for her to fucking deal with all that bullshit.
I'm sure she'll monetize and capitalize on this.
Oh, that's true.
The book of the truth. If we even get to that point.
That's true.
Yeah, who knows?
I can only hope.
Do you have any other news?
I was gonna say I was seeing something today about, I don't know if maybe you've heard of it, but that supposedly they label them as aliens underwater in the ocean. Have you seen that?
Yeah, the submarine ones.
Something like that, yeah. That they're supposedly that they discovered aliens in the ocean and everybody's fucking losing their head.
Yeah.
But I always feel like every time the country is a very dark time.
When aliens come about, it's because something dark. They're trying to hide something.
They know a lot more than they're letting on. They're just kind of trying to give people to chill out a little bit, I feel like.
Distract them with something else.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's weird.
The possibility of something else.
I just think the ocean is crazy. We've only explored, I think, 5%, if I'm not mistaken, of the ocean. But we know more about the universe. Like, that doesn't hit in my head,
Yeah.
That's weird.
I was getting the videos on TikTok about this, that they had something in Congress where they came
Did you see Bobert?
No, I didn't. I did see that she was in that meeting, but I didn't really hear what she was saying, and I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, but she was there.
Yeah, she was there. Fuck Bobert, for those of you guys that don't.
Yeah, honestly.
And yes, I did see that there was talks about these the WAP UAPs.
Oh yeah.
And that they're real. They're saying that they're real. They're here, and that they're not human. So, with that being said, I don't know if it's a distraction for something else, or they're just buttering us up for something else.
Yeah, I don't know, but
which is very interesting either way.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the whole concepts of aliens and life outside, the Earth, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's weird that they're labeling them as aliens as well. That underwater when they're terrestrial. They're not extraterrestrial. Yeah. I mean, technically, like, not on land, but they're still part of Earth.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a hypothesis like of what if they lived here before us.
I mean, they're probably more advanced. In fact,
they're just aquatic. They just happen to be better in water. I don't know.
I'm telling you, one thing I know, they ain't fucking dealing with racism and sexism. They're more evolved than that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about it. I mean, if they're here, I wonder what they know about our political shit.
Yeah, I really don't know. Yeah.
Are they Trumpies? Or are they?
Would you vote for Kamala?
Kamala or Trump? Like that? Let me know, because I'm trying to cancel you up.
Yeah, but I saw a short clip of Bobert just asking, basically from their observations, if their technology is more advanced than us, and they just said yes. So
yeah, they said yes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, they basically were saying they're here, it's known, and they're definitely something that is not human.
Yeah.
And that they have amazing type of technology. And there's a whole bunch of things that go around the conspiracies when it comes to like aliens and Bob Lazar and deconstructing these artifacts that we've received to kind of like reverse engineer and recreate a technology. There's a whole bunch of like crazy shit out there when it comes to aliens. Yeah, I did hear about those news, but who knows? Maybe they're trying to distract us, maybe not.
Yeah, I really don't know. Honestly, I feel like, I've been trying to take breaks from my TikTok, if I'm being honest, because most of it is just politics right now.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's just saturated, and reasonably so, right?
Yeah.
But it's just pretty saturated with that, and then all of a sudden, like, aliens underwater. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. Bobert is there. I'm like, this seems so fucking random.
Yeah, dude. It's surreal almost what we're living. To end things up and to wrap things up, I kind of wanted to, you reminded me something that I wanted to mention at the beginning, that it's that it's good that we're talking about politics, because we need to. There's a lot of ignorance out there, and we need to teach each other and kind of like be tolerant of each other's views. I understand that. but there's also the right way, the ethical way to do things, and the wrong way to do things, right? And I feel like a lot of the times they either want they want society or the populace to be stupid and not have education, or they want us to not speak about politics, whether it is with families and whatnot.
It's taboo.
Yeah, it's taboo, and it shouldn't be taboo. I think that's sort of a social constraint or social control to do that. And you should be talking about politics. You should know where you stand, where your dad stands, where your mom stands, and you should have amicable conversations about how to live with each other. Because then you have things like closeted Trumpers, and then they're like, "Whoa, my family just hates me now." It's like, yeah, bro, you guys never talked about this, like. Yeah. It turns out you're more racist than them, or you're racist straight up, right. Or you feel a type of way about women. Like, come on, these are things that you need to talk to your family about. And politics are very much a thing because they're something that rules life. It's the way they run our country. So yeah, you should be informed and you should be talking about it. So fuck that taboo about we don't talk religion or politics. If you don't want to talk about it, it's because you want to remain ignorant and you don't want to. Question yourself or question the way the rule of law.
Yeah, I think you said something that resonated for me personally, right? Is that we really do have, it really is going to come down to having these type of conversations. You know? No matter how frustrating it is and exhausting, honestly, because I think a lot of us have put in the work for years, not even like just these past few months, but for years trying to have conversations with people that just maybe aren't as educated, and I'm not trying to say that as like, oh, I'm better than you because I did this X, Y, and Z, but really it just comes down to talking to each other because, like you said, they want us divided, and if they're going to take away the Department of Education, I mean, the quality in education in America or in the United States is only going to get lower, right? So we're going to have to depend on each other as units of knowledge, really. Yeah. There's some really intelligent people out there.
TikTok has done a really good job about spreading that message, right? Informing people, which is amazing. It's a beautiful thing that the social media can do, things like YouTube, having this conversation right here, even if we're not experts, but just having the conversation, being aware of things, making other people that are listening to this podcast aware or at least question themselves. Maybe you guys don't agree in totality with us, but at least question yourself a little bit and of why you feel or believe what you believe. It wasn't just mere indoctrination. It's just the way it's always been. But have you ever questioned yourself if it could be a different way? That's all I'm saying, and that's all we're trying to create in this podcast.
Yeah, and if you don't want to listen to it, then stop listening to the podcast because this is something that's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
In Spanish too. I think it's even more important to do it in Spanish, actually.
Yeah, this is the podcast. This is a podcast for that, to share information as well, to have fun, but also to have reflections, right? The one of the life reflections, to kind of go in the introspection a little bit, which is something that I feel like a lot of people are lacking nowadays. Truly. How about we go to this last section of the podcast called What's Your Bop? Diana, to finish up, why don't you tell us what you've been listening to during the week?
Yeah, I'm going to pick a song off of Raúl Alejandro's new album.
Ah, great. Yes,
he has an English bop on there that I really like. It's called Committed.
The one
with Pharrell Williams.
Yes, ma'am. I like the song. I think phonetically is amazing. Musically is amazing. Right. What I did miss was that Pharrell, it looked like he was maybe in the production, maybe in the writing of the lyrics or whatever, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like he should have thrown a couple bars. Come on, Pharrell. He should have thrown a couple bars. Yeah, be Pharrell if you're going to be Pharrell, That is a good song. I really like that song from the album, but I wish my only critique is that out of all the featurings that he had in that album, which were all pretty solid, that one is the weaker because Pharrell was not there. As much as I wanted him to be. Yeah, I expected to hear his voice back.
But what I did like is the mix of. To me, it sounded a mix of R&B and Latin.
Yeah, it was very fun, very cool sounds. Yes, it was very much like that, which we know Pharrell can do, because he's a great producer. Oh yeah. That came through, but throw some lyrics next time.
What about yourself?
Mine is gonna be a classic. It's called "Feel Good" by Gorillaz.
Yes.
We were listening to before we started the show. "Feel Good," dedicated to you guys, and try to feel good. Amongst all the bullshit that we're having to deal with. I know not everybody's in the same page, and I know a lot of people are still having to deal with this moral and ethical hangover that we're kind of going through in the U.S. and then eventually in America, because we get affected. Other nations get affected because they're so entangled with the U.S.
Yeah, it's going to have an impact on the world.
Anything else you want to add before we end the podcast for today?
Ladies, stay strapped up.
Right? Yeah, the body my choice memes have been funny.
Yeah, or on the real, like if you're not comfortable with that, like I don't really like that. So I was kind of joking around, but for ladies who do feel comfortable doing that, do that. But get something that'll make you feel safe. I'll just leave it at that. Not pepper spray though, because you can hurt yourself with pepper spray. So get something else.
A taser,
or I've been seeing something.
Tase somebody in the balls.
Something on TikTok that it's not necessarily a weapon, but I think it's called birdie alarm. So it's like something that you can hang on your keys, and you just like pull it out, and it starts doing like an alarm sound, like a fire alarm, basically that type of sound.
Like a loud one.
Yeah, like a really loud one, so you can get people's attention, because who's gonna do something? I mean, unless you're fucking stupid, like extremely stupid, to get people's attention, so that whoever's
trying to attack
whoever's threatening you will
get away.
Yes.
Get some brass knuckles. Defend yourself.
Something, honestly. Take some boxing classes, self-defense class, something,
Yeah. You guys can box. We saw it this last week.
Oh, yeah. Women can throw it down.
Yeah, they can throw it down. So to all the minorities that that are there. And
not just women, actually. Just minorities in general.
The people that are subjugated, that aren't necessary, that don't look a certain part, and then there are some people that are white people that are comrades, in battle.
For sure.
Not every white person is mean or has these ideologies, but to those people as well, like keep fighting. We can only keep fighting. That's the only way, unless you guys just want to put your hands down and give up. But I just want to say that it's not about left or right. It's about class consciousness and being aware that it's us versus them. The people that have the most money against the people that don't have any money.
Yeah, and we're the majority, so just keep that in mind.
Class. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't to the channel, and comment so that you guys can keep this channel growing, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Stay safe.
Have a good one. Bye.